I had to hide that room because one more was for for some reason.
Okay, I'm live now. Yeah. I'm just seeing if it's live online, Tom.
And I went through the old messages and I had to see if the code.
Yeah, go on.
I went through the codes on the messages you sent me before, like ages ago, when it worked. So
All right, you're on anyway.
uh,
Well, is your brother joining us?
I'll ask him now. Mike, yeah, are you joining us on a meeting? 2 seconds, Carl.
All right. So basically, we're both on the screen, my end anyway. Is that what's showing up your end?
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's what I needed. So we'll do. I'm just getting the tag sorted out.
No.
So I put a note on yesterday. So hopefully we'll get a few. I don't know, like we did last time.
Yeah, it should do. I could add a notification from YouTube anyway saying that it's live. So.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, right. That's absolutely excellent. So I think what I envisage this now, right? Because I still got a lot to do tonight, and we got snow. So I've just yeah, I'm trying to kill lots of birds with one stone, and
Yeah, it starts snowing, is it, up your end?
yeah, yeah, we've got snow here, so.
Yeah, my other
Uh,
brother Jack, he's got snow. He's in Ebervale.
oh, oh well, it must make life really horrible there.
It's cold down here in Barry, but it's just raining.
Oh well, that's typical rain, isn't it?
From here.
So yeah, Michelle, could you grab me one of those cans? Thanks. So
You
okay,
found
I'm thinking what we'll do, we'll talk about the
workplace.
we'll set the context. We'll set the context for the first episode, and then I want to go over I want to talk about the script, and I don't know. You know, you've sent me the script.
Yeah.
Does that include? Because I haven't actually looked at it. Does that actually include what I've sent you? You've put it in yours as well. Is that right?
Yeah, so the one that I wrote before that I sent to you that you've seen,
Yeah.
I changed that completely.
Right.
And obviously because Matt's gonna be there, I've got Matt doing a piece. And it's what we'll do, we'll film the helicopter scene first because that's priority.
Yeah.
And then the Matt stuff is supposed to sit in front of the episode as like the
Yeah.
intro.
Okay.
And
Okay. Yeah.
that can be filmed afterwards.
So how different is this from my script?
Pretty much the same. I've just tweaked a few things.
Okay.
I've just tweaked a few things, so
Okay.
making a bit more use of the zombies and giving Azalea, I think, a little bit more dialogue and a little bit more to do. I've added in a few shots, so like getting a look at the eyes and the bite on her hand.
Yeah.
And it basically, I've expressed that like when you're bitten, that's it, you're dead,
Yeah.
and that's why when you see what happens with Azalea, it's got a bit more impact then.
All right. So what I think, so we don't confuse people. So we don't confuse people.
Basically, what's going on there?
Oh, don't worry. I had the two screens up then, Karen.
Huh. I wasn't even talking. I was just listening to you. That's weird.
Right. Okay. Look, don't worry about it. So I've got the I've got the live chat here anyway. So I'm hoping that this will all work. So yeah, I've got the live chat up anyway. So I'm just gonna we'll basically start in a moment. I just gotta just tweak one last thing. And we'll do that there. So we'll introduce this properly now anyway. We are live anyway. So
Cool.
so
So just gonna we'll basically
lots of my voices.
yeah.
Okay, right. So I think reason I wanted to do a live tonight, well, you suggested it, and I'm gonna say, right, in the background, Michelle's here, and you know these Christmas presents that Michelle now for Christmas, right? I'll put them in a Christmas sock, right? And she just found them.
Huh.
Life. Right, anyway, so
Yeah.
so can we I think the best way to do this tonight is to introduce the episode and just sort of talk about what we've done with episode one, with the first part of the episode, and then talk about the second part of the episode, and then talk about the third part of the episode, and then introduce this because that would actually make sense as a block of information, right? So if you introduced the first part of the episode for Wildfire Outbreak UK, and obviously, you know, the episode's called The Announcement. So if you talk about the first part and how that's panned out, go for it.
Yeah, sure. So obviously it's split into 4 parts, but it's one episode called The Announcement. With the first part, we filmed it in the studio, and basically that's set on the 25th of August, 2010, where the wildfire outbreak actually happens in the Walking Dead universe. So essentially, that's like the end of the world. So what we filmed is some sort of found. It's kind of like a found footage thing in a Carl of a recording of like the last ever sort of TV announcement, talking about the
From the
virus
BBC.
from the BBC. Yeah, and pardon me. It one of the guys, Alan, he's infected. He's like a medical officer announcing it, and he collapses. And then obviously we have our main character overall of the series. She's going to be the main character, and she pretty much she gets bitten at the
Yeah,
end, and then
and that's Azalea. Yeah.
yeah, and then like that's the idea of the episode you do, and then like when we come into the second one, is actually set before, so it's going backwards rather than putting the plot ahead.
When right. So when you say the second one, that's the second episode you're talking about, not the second part.
Second part, 1.2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what we've
Right. Yeah.
done,
No. Sorry. Yeah. I've confused people. Yeah. So 1.2 is basically we'll talk about 1.2 in a minute. Sorry, I've just put something else in. I should have. Carry on, Tom. Carry on.
so yeah, 1.2 obviously
Yeah.
it comes before the 25th of August. I
Yes.
think we had
Yes.
a date on it. I can't remember what the date was. Um, but instead of like going forwards, we're going to explore backwards. But with episode 1.1, it's all setting us up. I was like a test episode and like what
Yes.
you wanted for the submission to AMC, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That's right. So yeah. Basically, what Tom said is entirely correct. So you've got part one of the episode. Is in the studio really, and Azalea loses it because she's been bitten. Now the person that
Yeah.
she's been bitten by is Alan Smith, who's actually who does have quite a pedigree on IMBD, and he stepped forward to be the lead announcer in the first part of the episode in part one, and then what Tom's just mentioned that I just I've got something slightly wrong there. What Tom's just mentioned in episode 1.2 is then basically what we've got is we've got Alan who's wandering in a situation, and that's the moment he gets bitten, right? So we go
Yeah,
back.
so you
Yeah.
see how
So
he gets bitten then.
yeah, yeah,
So in episode 1.1, you see him turn, but then you see him in 1.2 get bitten, which leads up to the part where he turns.
yeah, exactly. So basically, interesting enough, 1.2. If I explain this, Tom, I always forget the elements of 1.2 because there's actually there's four elements of 1.2, right? So if I just chuck this out, there's the door element where we've got a hand around the door and so on. That you know that's that one bit, and the other element of 1.2 is where we've got a sort of an interview between Frank Lennon and we've got Matt then, who's our radio announcer throughout the throughout the episodes basically. So he's our radio announcer, and Matt Cash, and so he's got a little bit of an interview with Frank, and this is this again is basically, you know, it is a few days before, and then we've got the scene where we've got Alan Smith who's been bitten, and you know it shows him being bitten. We introduce a walker of types in that scene, and we've got a firearms officer as well. And then so that's the third element of 1.2, right? And then another element of 1.2 is when this is all edited together. And one thing I'm going to say, Tom, is 1.2 is released when we get to 200 subscribers on our channel. So that's just to remind people, because we've already released one. Yeah, we've already released 1.1. And so what we've got the fourth bit of episode 1.2 is that we've actually got an evacuation scene in a corridor where we introduce Matt's in that. There's also Ruth's in that as well. There's David, who's David Marvelli, who's actually our firearms officer. So he's the one who shoots the walker dead in the lane, or in the area, the walker that's bitten Matt. Not Matt, the walker that's bitten Alan. And then we've got the evacuation scene. So there's a lot of that to put together. That's I don't know if that's already been edited together, Tom, or whether you're happy with it, because I haven't seen that yet.
I'm happy with what I've got. Yeah, it's ready to go up. I want you to have a look at it first, just to make
I
sure
need,
you know make sure
yeah,
it's like ready to go. But
yeah,
as far as I'm concerned, it's done.
I
I'm,
I need to have a look at that. Yeah.
I'm
So
waiting then to get 1.3 sorted.
which is slightly different. So I think we'll both talk about that in a moment, right? So what I want to do is the reason why I've got Michael on you, right, is I want and Michael, keep it sensible. The reason I don't know if we can hear Michael on you, but Michael, you've
Oh,
seen the
can you
edit
hear me?
for you've seen the edit for 1.1. What do you think about it, honestly?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's quite good actually. Can you hear me on? Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you. As long as me and Tom don't talk, we can hear you. Tell us what you think about that bit of, you know, the filming.
yeah, no, it's quite good. With all the things on it, with all the things. I don't really make sense to it. What's
Oh
it
no,
called?
you are with all the elements. Yeah, there's it. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it looks all right on there, like with the
I
blood
mean,
and things.
with all the video being distorted and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
yeah,
like that bit, and I like the music on it as well.
Yeah.
and and one thing about the music, Michael, is that we the biggest problem is with the way we're doing this is that it's about copyrights and stuff. So I've said to Tom, I just said, right, just use stuff that is actually being performed by people who are long dead.
Yeah, it's got to
And
be public
yeah,
domain because of copyright.
exactly. So there's stuff out there that goes back hundreds of years, and we're just going to use that because when we look at I'm not too much of a musician guy, and I'm not sure saying that you guys are either. But when you get people who are like Wagner or Stravinsky or Tchaikovsky, these people that do really deep stuff, right? We can grab all that, and it gives a good bit of background.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
music's really important. It's
Yes,
really important. It gives an extra layer of atmosphere that you can't just get from, the actual footage.
yes,
So if a
yeah,
character is feeling a certain way and you've got the right music there, it sort of amplifies that emotion and it makes
yes,
you feel a certain way about what's going on.
Yeah, I think you've chose the music right on there though as well. On that
Yeah.
yeah.
one.
I agree. I agree. And sorry to bolt in you. Basically saying to everybody on Don't Line, don't forget to like and subscribe and give your support. One thing I would say is that I actually I actually really feel for what Azalea's going through in that scene. It actually, you can. She's going through absolute agony. She's just been bitten, right? Uh, in She doesn't know it. Her life could be at an end, right? But it isn't. Have I thrown too much away there, Tom? But the point is that you feel Azalea's pain, and she's been bitten, and everyone just leaves her.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I've done
When you
something
think,
similar in 1.2. I done another score. It's another one that's in the public domain, and it gives it sort of a colder feel, I think,
yeah,
if you know what
yeah,
I mean.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's a similar vibe, but it feels more robotic.
yeah,
I don't mean like performances. I mean like it's like it feels like it's like representing the cycle of life,
yeah,
or the way
yeah,
this thing happens to people. It just makes it feel a bit cold, like, do you know what I mean?
yeah.
yeah.
That's exactly what we need. Um, so the other thing as well is episode 1.3, so which is the most latest filming, which was on a freezing cold day, and that couldn't have gone. Yeah, that could have gone a lot worse, but there were a lot of issues with that filming.
Yeah.
So from my point of view, it was a lot of effort to try and get something done, and I believe that we've got it. So did you want to explain on that, or should we just both jump into that? So we left the studio in Barry, and we went to a location outside Cowbridge. Go for it.
So before we even turned up to the set to get the makeup done and stuff, it was people dropping out left, right, and center. Anything that could go wrong went wrong. We got on set. It was supposed to be quiet, not many people go through where we were filming, but there was car after car. We kept on making mistakes. Obviously, another couple of things happened. We lost a few more people, and we managed to get, I think, what you wanted for the
Yeah,
scene. But I feel it could have went better. But like I see that one as more of like a test of how we can use the makeup effects of the
yeah,
walkers. But at least we get a walker, like two walkers in it in this one. We're supposed to have a couple more, but at
yeah,
least we can sort of get used to getting the people all done up for it and how they're going to look, the way they're going to move. Because we were talking a lot about their movement and the speed of them and stuff like that. So it was more of a learning curve, I think, 1.3, because it doesn't bring the story forward that much, but it's a nice scene to have that
yeah,
slot into when we actually put the whole episode together. The whole episode of the announcement, it'll slot in nicely somewhere in there. I
yeah,
feel that 1.4 is going to be a lot better, and
yeah.
it's a lot more organized as well this time.
So 1.4. That this is the point. So this is one thing I wanted to discuss really. That so episode 1.4. We'll just go with what we'll just talk about. the script wise with what you've written down and whether this needs to be altered or changed. Right. So, but I would make sure that we've got. It's going to be very, very tight to try and get all this done in basically 2 hours. And so we've got a location outside Cowbridge that there's an actual helicopter, a real helicopter that was actually used in the Falkland War. It was still flying around and whatever. So by about 2010, it would be like sort of close to being mothballed, but is perfect for 2010. So what we've basically got, and by reading this out, are we giving too much away?
Well, that's for you to decide.
Right. So basically, maybe I might cut out one line, and that might actually be fine. So what we've got with episode 1.4, it's like intro, cold open scene, camera opens up on set not far from main location with helicopter in Cowbridge. Camera is focused on Chris Hayden Smith, Matt Cash, who's our presenter. Chris is live on air making an announcement about what to look out for with infected persons. Chris has an earpiece and he is dressed as you would expect a reporter to be dressed, shirt and tie. And then Matt goes and says, "Good morning, this is Chris Hayden Smith. Today I have an important announcement to make regarding the wildfire virus and infected persons." Chris touches his earpiece. Someone is rattling in his ear, telling him to do or not to do something. Matt touches his earpiece, "Not now." Matt looks towards the camera. "We believe the wildfire virus is contagious between persons infected and uninfected via a bite, or in some cases, scratches that are deep enough to break skin." There's a pause. "If you encounter anyone who has been infected with the virus, isolate them immediately. It doesn't matter if it's friends, family, or loved ones." Then there's a pause. "Children, isolate them immediately and call for help." Then we've got pausing, touching earpiece, looking irritated, and no tough to person in earpiece. Gunshots of some sort in distance and shouting. So those gunshots are going to have to be added later then.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got Matt again. Matt looking at the camera again. "Look, I don't have much time. Whatever you do, don't get bitten. Whatever you do, do not get bitten. The bite kills you." Notices walkers approaching. Cameraman, and then you've got the cameraman Chris run. So who's actually? So there's three people. So there's cameraman, and there's Hayden, and there's Chris. Is that right?
Well, Chris Hayden Smith, isn't it? That's one person. So Matt. So Matt is doing this report.
Yeah.
He's
Right,
basically
so-
telling people.
Sorry, I've got
What
that
goes
wrong
on.
there. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, there's two people. There's a cameraman on Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got them run, right, and you've got cut to title sequence.
Yeah. But when they run,
Yeah.
I'm going to have the camera still rolling as the cameraman's running. So you might get a glimpse of what's behind them, you might not, but you'll see the camera moving, shaking like mad. And then it'll just abruptly cut to the title sequence. And then we come on to our main scene.
Should we use the cam for that? Just
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just use it because it's easy. You can move with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, we'll just use the cam for that. Right, that makes sense. Right, so if that needs to be done, that needs to be done quite pronto.
Yeah, and that can be done quickly.
That needs to be done quickly. So
It's supposed to look like it's being done quickly as well.
right. Okay,
It's
so
like he's got an opportunity, he's got an opening to try and warn people because he actually cares. And the people in the earpiece are trying to shut him up, basically. And he's defying them. He's like, "No, this needs to be put out there, and like he's gonna be in a lot of trouble for doing it, but
Yeah.
he's doing it because he cares. And
Yeah.
he's basically explaining like if you're bitten, like that's it, you're gone. You got to stay. You got anyone who's been bitten. It doesn't matter who they are. You got to isolate them immediately. You can't have any contact with them because there's no cure. They're going to turn anyway. So to protect yourself and to try and keep as many people alive as possible, make sure you don't get bitten or be around people who've been bitten.
So that basically puts the pressure on the next team, which is Azalea.
Yeah, because as we know, in 1.1, you've seen that she's been bitten.
That she has been bitten on the hand, exactly. So this is back to the helicopter now. So this is the main bit. So the backdrop. So the helicopter team, pan camera around scene. Walkers stumbling about doing walker stuff. Pan to helicopter. Azalea Slade, TV presenter, sat in front of helicopter. Sad expression, looking defeated and torn up. Right. So that's actually reminded me. I need to make sure that Azalea is actually wearing exactly the same clothes that she was wearing that day.
Yeah, and obviously Amanda's gonna do what she's gonna do with it, like tear it up,
Yeah.
do her makeup and stuff. And what I was hoping to get her to do, I don't know if you've seen earlier, to get the bite on the hand. I sent her an example of like the kind of thing. Obviously, it's going to be a bit smaller and it's on the hand. She reckons she could do that, so that'd be great. So there's a scene where we're going to show
Oh, she
that.
reckons she can do it. Right, good.
Yeah, she's
Oh, brilliant.
confident she can do it. So we're going to show that. We're going to get a shot of it, like
Good.
obviously the contact lenses and stuff. And
yeah. So, how does it sound so far, Michael?
Yeah, no, it sounds good. Sounds like a good idea, like with all the things and the hand. The hand thing sounds sick. Like.
Good. So we haven't really worked out what you're doing that day, but we're still developing this.
Michael is going to be a walker.
He's going to be a walker. Brilliant then. Cool.
Yeah, that sounds quite fun to do, like, you know.
But Tom, you're going to have to get him up to speed.
Yeah, we'll sort that.
What do you mean up to speed?
You've got to be
way you got to look, act, like move. It's like very specific movements. The way it's done.
Yeah.
We're trying to emulate the walkers from season 1 of The Walking Dead.
Yeah, I'll have to
And
watch it.
believe it or not, they're slightly different. I can watch it with you and show you bits and pieces. Like,
Yeah, I'll give it a watch because I fell asleep the other day, if you remember. I'll have to stay awake and look at them.
and obviously on the set when we're there, you'll be directed by me and Carl anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
Exactly. So, background walkers can be glimpsed eating something. Walkers on top of person in the distance. Person is screaming and kicking legs. And then so that's sort of in the background, yeah?
Yeah, so you get a glimpse of it. So obviously, because we're limited, because obviously we're not able to use blood bags and stuff at the moment. So you're just going to see them appearing to be on top of someone. There'll be a few of them because we've got Michael, we've got Ben, and I think we've got a couple of other people that you've hired that can do it. They're going to be on top of this extra, and yeah, it's showing that he's been torn apart. Basically, they're interested in flesh.
Yeah.
But that's going on in the background. You get a glimpse. You don't really focus on that. It goes back to Azalea, as you'll see next.
Yeah. So we're back on Azalea, and she's basically there again at the helicopter, in front of the helicopter. She says, I've been bitten. I don't understand why I'm not dead. Why won't I just die? And then you're adding this. So supporting actor B, right? So that's somebody who's sort of passing her. Is that right, or what we're going to do?
So in the script that you wrote, I noticed that you had it said supporting actor B. I don't know who that is, but it's someone who's also injured, not far from Azalea, and they can't. I'm picturing them, they're bleeding out essentially, or they're bleeding. They've broken legs, something like that. They're immobile, and they're getting a bit frustrated because obviously Azalea is she's having a breakdown, she's making a lot of noise, and as you'll see, it's attracting the walkers.
Yeah.
And this extra actor is saying, you know, shut the fuck up, you crazy bitch. You know, they're gonna come, and they
Uh,
obviously
and,
do come.
and the
And
sound of Azalea shouting attracts the walkers, exactly.
yeah, I don't know if you want to discuss what happens further because of spoilers, but um, I think having that extra there is quite nice as well because it adds a bit more to it.
A bit more
So
depth, yeah.
it's not confusing to people watching it. Then people know for certain, pretty much, you know, what's happening here. Like there's something strange going on.
Right. Right, Tom. We've got a bit of a problem now. Somebody's actually mentioned something online, right?
Yeah,
They've said, "Are you planning on having a sentient walker or someone with immunity to the virus?"
you have to wait and find out.
You have to wait and find out. Dumas 38, and hopefully Dumas 38. When we act, hopefully you're subscribed and you're liking on here. And if you
Yeah,
we
they were on our last live stream, weren't they?
yeah, Dumas 38. So yeah, thank you, Dumas 38. We're not going to say anything else, Dumas 38, but there is something coming. Right, that's it. There is definitely something coming. I can keep reading this, and I got to be very careful what I say next. So, Walker stop eating victim in distance and begin to approach Azalea slowly. We pan back to Azalea and focus on hand bite, then cut to her eyes, and obviously we've got contacts in, but we don't have to say what contacts they show, so we're not going to go further with that. So Walker A walks onto scene, Azalea facing Walker A from the camera right, and then there's a delay, and there's Azalea. She's in a London accent. Fucking bite me, just kill me. I'm already fucking dead. Just do it. Right. So I think whatever Dumas is saying, thinking, they probably understand where we're going with this. So Walker A slowly heads towards Azalea as if to sniff her out, then moves away from her towards the left in front of the camera. And then supporting actor B, what the fuck? And that's a good, yeah, we'll go with that one. So what the fuck? So Walker A then walks slowly towards injured supporting actor B on the ground on the left, and supporting actor B, no, please get that crazy bitch. No. Yeah, that's good. We like it. Azalea reacts to events of actor A and B ad-libbing comments. The point is with this bit, right? We've got to be really specific. So we're this is going off. This is happening, not really in camera, is it? This A and B stuff, right? We're not really. Because to be honest with you, we don't have the time. We don't have the makeup guy. So the point is, could we get away with like just sort of something blurred, some kind of attack which is blurred but not actually clear? Should we do that, or are
Yeah,
we
we
just
can
gonna?
make it work. We can make it work like I said, when you see him in the distance.
Yeah.
There'd be a way to make it look really good, like.
By the way, we got 7 people watching online. So everybody watching online, don't forget to like and subscribe, share. We're discussing the next filming scene for Wildfire Outbreak UK. The announcement. We're talking about the 4th part of the 1st episode, and just keeping reminding everybody that what we're aiming to do with this is we're going to come out with part 2 of episode 1 when we get 200 subscribers on here. The stuff that has been already sent to AMC, that's part 1 of episode 1. And then it goes on to say that Azalea reacting to events, so as she would. So basically we got Walker A. Hang on a minute. So we got Walker A. And the Walker. Now that's another thing altogether. So what we've got a Walker A, and we've got the Walker. right? So do you want to explain to people what that means? Who is the Walker? What is the Walker about? Or do you want? Is that not too much spoilers, is it?
Well, the plan was like you see it in The Walking Dead season 1. You got a scene where Rick is going towards Atlanta on the. He's got a horse, and there's some sort of noise made. I can't remember exactly what it was. I watched it a couple of weeks ago, but you got this Walker that sort of stands up a little bit, looks at him, and he's quite distinct because he's got a black suit on. He's got like this long sort of curly hair. His eyes are yellow as well, not milky blue like it's supposed to be. I noticed that on watching it. He's like yellow, so he looks a bit different, and
Yeah.
that's like quite far away from where we end up by the tank. It's quite a
Yeah.
distance. Um,
Yes.
and you see him again, and he's by the tank, and it's almost as if he's hunting down Rick. Like he's
Right.
caught the scent of Rick, and he's actually following him. And you see him a few other times. I think you see him in season 2. Like this Walker is proper on Rick's ass all the way through the early seasons. I think until I think it's Frank Darabont. He left in season 2. He was like the director.
Yeah,
But they
yeah,
had
yeah. Leaving that, yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had a little idea going on there, I think. So that's why you wanted to do something similar. So we have like the same Walker, so the same person
Yeah.
as this Walker, like making an appearance throughout what we're doing. And you've obviously got episode 2 now that we're going to do after 1.4,
Which is
titled The
called
Walker.
Yes,
So we're going to do something with that.
yes, yes.
If
So,
that's
so
what we're
we
referring to anyway.
yeah, that's what I was referring to. Yeah. So we've got Walker A, we've got the Walker, which is basically a second Walker, but the Walker attacking B on the ground, camera on event, but then cuts back to Azealia, and additional C. So what's the additional C? Is that another Walker?
Yeah. I believe that's what it was. That's pretty much untouched from what you sent me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I
So
took what
Azealia,
you sent me and I edited my bits on it.
so Azealia is freaking out. Realization that the walkers are not interested in her. B is screaming on floor. Walkers make their walker noises, and then we cut. Then we go to the credits. So that really sounds good. That
Hmm.
really sounds good. So that all sounds good. The biggest thing is to be able to do that. So our restrictions on the day, right? Our restrictions on the day is that we've got we could we've got crew. There's 4 of us, so there's 4 basically on crew. So we've got to make sure that some of these people could double up. So we've obviously got Matt, we've got Michael, we're looking at Frank, and what we could do is maybe use Ruth to double up, maybe, right?
What's the word on David? Is David joining us this time?
Well, weirdly enough, right? Weirdly enough, David, right? David, I don't know where he gets this from. He said, "Answer to what are the rules that an extra must follow when filming a movie?" Right, so he puts that up there, and I
Right.
basically responded on our WhatsApp group. From someone who does both acting and extra work, and I teach it and direct, the basic rule is respect, no politics, no religion, and no bias. So I don't know where he's coming with that, but David would be absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna type in our WhatsApp group. I'm hoping David can do Friday.
It'd be
So
really nice to see David. We had a laugh on 1.2 with Dave, he does
yeah,
bring something, He
he
does
does
bring
bring.
a good quality to the production. Like.
He is a bit tight money wise, so don't expect him to buy your pint, Tom. But other than that, he was a good guy. He is a good guy, and now we've got to talk about something else, right? We've got to talk about something else. What happens if the weather is dire?
Well, if the weather's bad, we'll have to reschedule, and there's nothing we can do about it,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
how difficult is it going to be to reschedule? So obviously, you know, it's going to be. We're down a few people on this filming as well. We're down Ella can't Ella. There's somebody else who you've not met as well. One of Ella's colleagues. There's also Ella's daughter as well that actually really wants to do this as well. So you know we've got a few people who can't do that date anyway. So it's just developing what we can do, and yeah. So I think what we're going to do now is you know we've done 40 minutes. We've got 7 people online. I just want to find out online that if anyone's got anything that you want to say online, and don't forget everybody online, don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got 8 people online, which is absolutely brilliant. Maybe what we could do is bring Michael on, you know, last time this evening, bring Michael on and basically say, well, what would he like to see us doing in episode 2? Not episode 1, episode 2. So go on,
Yeah, so
Michael. Go on, Michael. Yeah.
I don't know. On episode 2, could just do like more zombies and like people more getting infected and all that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and one of the things, Michael, is that I think what we should do is because we're going back on ourselves, is actually explore more stuff that they've hidden.
Yeah, yeah. You should actually. That's a good idea, that is.
Because this is one of the things, right? When you think about this, right? When you think about it, if you type this on the internet, right, it basically says if you look this in. If you look this up, it basically says that the wildfire virus is detected sometime around the 16th of April, 2010. Right, so we got sort of April, May, June, July, even before we get to August. Right, so what's happening in all of that time? And this is something that the Walking Dead universe, particularly the Fear of the Walking Dead, did not answer. Right. And this is one thing that's been massively disappointing for people who've actually been massive fans of The Walking Dead. When I actually started seeing Fear of the Walking Dead, right, the first episode, I thought it was really good, right, and then by the 3rd episode, it's all over, and you're thinking,
Yeah, it goes straight to apocalypse, doesn't it?
it was. I thought the thing is what we've got, Tom, what we've got is in Fear of the Walking Dead. It's like it started on the 25th of August, and that was it. It's like, how can it just suddenly start like that? It just doesn't make sense. It just there was obviously a build up to this, right? And it just it was one of the most disappointing series that I've ever watched ever.
I think what it was is that
Say that, Tom?
I think what it was, they were thinking maybe they were going to do the slow build up, so a couple of months or weeks before the actual outbreak. But at the same time, from a production stand of things, it was coming out as the main Walking Dead series was going off air for a break. So they wanted to keep Walking Dead on all year long. And if you didn't have the non-stop action and the zombies showing up like every other episode, like the main series, they probably thought, well, it's not going to do as well. It's not what people want to see right now, and I think maybe that's why they changed it, so it's you get episode 1 and then straight into the apocalypse.
Do you know? But I need to get some, because we're talking about Fear of the Walking Dead a moment. I'm going to try and get some character names up a minute so I can just explain this a little bit more. So we've got right. This is it, right? I can, right. We've got Nick Clark, who's played by Frank Delane in the Fear of the Walking Dead, who's a main character. You know Nick, Druggy
Yeah,
Nick.
yeah.
Right,
He was
Druggy
the
Nick.
son of stepson of Travis and
Madison. Yeah. Son of Kim Dickens, who played Madison Clark. It's so good to actually have all the names. I can just suck them off. So obviously the brother of Alicia Clark as well, who's actually Alicia Clark. Her real name is actually Alicia.
Yeah, that happens
Amazing.
sometimes.
Yeah, Alicia Denham Carey. That's her real name, but it's spelled differently. But anyway, the point is what we've got. The biggest and somebody and Juma's actually talking has actually put something on there. So I'll mention in a minute. By the way, I want to be finished at 9, so we haven't got long. The point is the point is I actually disagreed with something that you just said there, Tom. When they did have an opportunity in Fear of the Walking Dead. You remember the church scene that Nick was in, right? And he ran
Yeah,
out
that
into
was
the street. He
brilliant.
said, "Oh my, yeah, yeah."
Yeah,
Now that could have been that could have been a whole episode. They're all taking drugs in the church. There's blood
yeah, it was
everywhere.
all some
People are
sort of
fighting.
crack then.
Yeah, it could have happened. And then this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? So when you get all these, this is the problem. When you're getting all these zombie films, when you're getting the zombie universe, not the Walking Dead universe, it's two different things, which I'm reminded of by David.
Yeah,
Um, um, everyone moves too fast. Everyone's just wanting to get into the biting and killing. It just don't.
that's right.
But
Yeah,
when you're thinking about something like when you're talking about the Living Dead and you're talking about Dawn of the Living Dead and all of these things, right? There are a few bits of that actually say, "Oh, it's a bit slow," and then it just runs, right? But unfortunately, um, I don't. That's not the way we people want answers, you know. Um.
well, yeah.
Anyway,
What I
go.
was trying to say was that at the time when it was out, it was all about the zombies. The only appeal to zombies, and really, the Walking Dead it isn't about the zombies. It's about people.
No.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah.
the mainstream sort of audience at the time weren't interested in people. They just wanted to see zombies, and I think that's why they did what they did. I think it would have
But
been better if they kept it the way they intended to make it slow and creep up. You're
yeah.
seeing
Well.
like these smack den, people overdosing in smack dens and turning. Nobody knows what's going on. It's like when you see people on Spice in Cardiff. Is that
Yeah.
kind of thing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's just think things could be a bit more slowly, you know. Oh, anyway, but Juma on you says, I reckon if you're playing with the idea of immunity, it would be more fitting in the Walking Dead universe to have someone believe they are immune, but just take a very long time to turn. Everyone turns in the end. I think that's exactly, and to be honest with you, that's what they were playing with a little bit in the Fear of the Walking Dead, because um, they were playing with that a little bit in the
Yeah,
Walking
because
Dead.
they had that
In
guy,
Fear the
wasn't it, with the shoulder. He had like a big dent in his shoulder where he said a zombie bit him, but it was actually a person, just a normal person, wasn't it, that bit him, and he lied.
Yes, and
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, that was also a church scene. He was also a church minister. But when we talk about Morgan Jones, played by British actor Lenny James, it basically Morgan Jones, for example, in Fear the Walking Dead, is the archetypal, as Juma said, somebody who's immune but just takes a very long time to turn. But he's not, though, because Morgan Jones doesn't turn, right. Or it's just the walkers didn't like him and they didn't want to bite him, and that was it. Maybe that's it, you
I
know.
haven't actually seen it. I stopped when it switched over to season 4. It was you had Rick sending Morgan on his way essentially, and the show
Yeah.
becomes a bit more about Morgan. Then he becomes the lead. It felt totally different because I was enjoying the first 3 seasons. I went off it and I just didn't watch it, so I need to catch up. Like, does he get bitten or I don't know.
Um.
You said he's like immune, but I don't know what the score is there.
Um. So basically, so here we go. Fear the Walking Dead. Um. Morgan was immune in The Walking Dead because of luck. Since his introduction to the first episode of The Walking Dead, Lenny James Morgan has had quite a journey. So he's immune because he's lucky, right? Um, and if we talk about this, right? If you go to AI on the internet, it says, "Is anyone immune to the disease in The Walking Dead?" In the original show, and it in its 5 spin-off series, I think it's 6, there has never been a character that is immune to the zombie virus. That fact alone makes um, it just somehow makes the Morgan Jones thing really interesting in Fear of the Walking Dead, right? And I just, Morgan is immune, Fear the Walking. So you just constantly get this, right? Some people say no, he's not immune. So there's loads of ways of looking at this, right? Anyway, Juma Anya says Morgan was in the late stages of an infection when the walkers ignored him. They viewed him as being already dead because he was so close to death. He isn't immune to the virus itself. So that's
Oh, there we go.
this is what is actually being said here as well, that Morgan was basically dying, and the dead didn't want to bite him.
Because they seen him as already dead, like one of them. So
Yeah,
what
exactly.
you must have had some sort of gangrene going on, or
Oh yeah, but basically, he was dying and had rotting flesh on him from his wounds,
yeah,
but recovered and is not immune. But the thing is, if you talk about World War Z, right, you've got people who are ill and going to die, and that they in people who've been bitten just ignore them, right? So um, there's a lot to be said for this, and Juma, we will not let this completely out the bag, but you've probably worked something out. And when we actually get the full episode out there, the way we're going, Tom, to get the full episode out there, that means that'll be 400 subscribers. We'll get the full episode out there, but I'm sure it's doable. It's certainly doable.
yeah. We were
Um,
wondering about like getting up to, I think it was 100, let alone 200. We're nearly at 200 now, and it was quite quick. Obviously, it's tapered off a bit now. What are we on? We're on 177 or something like that.
179. So I'm basically saying to everybody to like and subscribe, and just if once we get to 200, we'll get the second part of the episode out there, right? And we'll just we'll just try and move on from there, really. So obviously, by the time that happens, we might actually have some responses from AMC and all that network. So then again, if we had 20 subscribers in the next few days, then that'd be great.
Yeah.
So getting close to the end now. So anything you want to say, Michael?
Nah, I'm alright. Yeah, it's all good though, isn't it?
Cheers. Thank you for that, Michael. And anything you want to say on there, Juma? Juma's 38, and you can probably guess that Juma is actually 38 years old. So there you go. That's how you work it out. Anything from you, Tom?
Yeah, I've been watching videos of like how the Walking Dead started and that, like the virus, the wildfire virus. And remember, I was talking about spores and stuff.
Yeah.
But it sent me down an algorithm on YouTube about all these UAPs and stuff over New Jersey and New York, like
Yeah.
weird shit going on, lights in the sky. They're calling them drones, and there's something weird going on. There was like this black flipping orb. It looked like a portal, right? Video of it going across the sky. It was weird as fuck. Like, I was thinking maybe we could do another live stream like we used to do with the podcasts and get like Darren Lovegrove back on and talk about that and what the implication could be with like the Walking Dead universe, like being infected by some sort of UAP. Because it was said spores in the comics, I think. So,
but the problem is this basically we've got the Center for Disease Control finding out that there is the wildfire virus has been detected on the 16th of April 2010, and obviously there's two things that are quite weird about this. The first thing is, well, it takes 4 months for people, for loads of people to be walkers, right? And you're just thinking, well, if this is this actually really done in a lab, right? That's the first question, right?
yeah.
It just, and for everybody on the planet to be infected, it doesn't make sense. So how do people on a Pacific island Easter Island get infected if it's done in a lab.
It's weird, isn't it?
When people had the corona, oh God, we don't want to mention that. The C virus, right? We mentioned that we're gonna have bloody YouTube coming up shutting us down. When the C virus was up and about, there were pockets of people on this planet who weren't exposed to the virus at all.
Yeah.
So if it is a virus made in a laboratory, then how does it get airborne?
That's the story we're going to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what we're working on, and basically, Juma is saying, "Cheers for the responses. Are you planning to make all the episodes about 20 minutes in runtime?" So, actually, that is a good question, Juma. Right? When actually Juma's quite educated, so I'm sorry to sound. Juma must be a major fan of ours, which is good. And actually, Juma might actually end up with a The Walking Dead UK or Wildfire Outbreak cap if Juma continues sort of following us here. But
Yeah.
the
I do recognise the name Juma. I don't know where from, but he sounds familiar.
Probably is. But the one thing I would say is that if we look at the first part of the episode, which is 5 minutes something, was it just under 6 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So the second batch of filming, Tom, is a lot more than 6 or 7 minutes filming, surely.
Yeah, we got about 10 minutes, I reckon, on 1.4. But you got to remember,
1.2. 1.2.
it's all being edited into one 20
Yeah.
to 30-minute episode. And then obviously we move on to episode 2. It sounds a bit confusing because what we're doing, we're releasing a quarter. We're doing 4 quarters of the first episode. That's so what you've seen, the 1.1 is the first part of episode 1, and then 1.2 is the second part, and so forth. So there's gonna be 4 of them, which make up a normal length episode. And that'll probably, when edited together, it'll look a bit different from the original cut anyway.
Yeah. So there's obviously a few things from the original cut 1.1 that I would like slightly altered.
Yeah.
You know that I don't like the gunshot sounds on it.
Yeah, we got a few things to work on.
It's like the gunshot sounds on that, and there's a bit that I'm basically I come in and I'd say just get on with it, and I just thinking, yeah, that might not be needed, but
no. But when we're doing the edit of like the full episode, so the full 20 to 30 minutes, like obviously we can change things, and it's gonna look different because it's got to make sense as well.
Yeah,
because obviously we've shot all of this in a weird order.
Yeah, but then again, that it's been a weird order for the reasons that we've discussed. So
yeah, exactly.
So it's now 1 minute to 9. So I'm gonna call it a day in a few moments. So don't forget to like and subscribe, everybody. Thanks for watching this live this live broadcast. We could go on longer, but unfortunately some of us have got to deal with sheep. I got to finish a script for my live show, which is another part of what we do with our production company, but that's something else. And I'll just say as I did, if Juma wants to say anything, say now. Michael wants to say anything, say it now. Okay, Michael. Thanks, Michael. Anything you want to say, Tom, before we close?
Yeah, so obviously Juma's really interested in what we're doing, and I'm sure there's other people watching and who watch our videos in general who would like to get involved with something like this. So if you want to get involved, let us know. Like you can be actually in it. You could be part of the crew. You know, you can help us out with the production, and we'll listen to all your ideas and stuff and consider them seriously. So
yeah, we would.
You can all be part of the Walking Dead UK. All you got to do is just let us know if you're interested.
Yeah, stick it down there. Exactly, stick it down there. So it's getting close to doing the filming in a few days. So we'll just see how that goes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say good night to everybody. So we'll just we'll close the stream down. So actually, Tom and Michael, just stay on a moment, and I'll just end the stream. So anyway, everybody, thanks for watching our live stream for The Walking Dead UK live, Wildfire Outbreak UK, the announcement, episode 1. We're talking about the filming, the last bit of the filming, 1.4. And many thanks again. You know, people on YouTube, we're so obsessive. Like and subscribe. Thank you. I'm off. Good night. Happy New Year.
All right, guys.
Night, guys. So I got to